Can you believe that it's already September?
No. It is beautiful out there, though. It makes me want to get out there and do my fall gardening.
Me too. I'm so glad to have relief from the heat because July really kicked me in the butt. I'm not going to lie. It was
part
tough.
of August, but we got some really good rain in August.
We did. I'm happy to say that while I still have some crabgrass left, I feel as though I made some major strides in conquering weeds. I have a few areas, but for the most part, I feel like we are in a manageable state. I am really ready for fall. I already decorated, which is way earlier than normal, so I am itching for it this year.
As did I. We're already decorated, and it's beginning of September.
I know. It's ridiculous. I don't care. But you know what's really great is all the stuff we did, all the harvesting and starting to dry seeds, heads, and flowers. It paid off with our decor. We're going to talk today about all the things that we should be doing in September, that you can be doing in September to have an amazing fall harvest and even into the spring.
Yes, we're ready.
Welcome to Fostering Blooms, the podcast where we dig deep into gardening and all the ways it can enrich your home and life.
Together, we'll explore every aspect of gardening the organic way, keeping it simple, accessible, and fun.
Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just getting your hands in the dirt, we're here to share the tips and insights you need to grow something truly special. I'm Shannon Foster-Bolin.
And I'm Caitlin Blum, and we're two friends on a mission to cultivate beauty, creativity, and connection through everything we grow.
This is Fostering Blooms.
So I got my beds cleaned out last week and ripped out all that scraggly stuff that's been eaten by the pests, and I'm ready for fall stuff.
You're further ahead than me. All my cover crops have been knocked down and they're laying there, and I did pull out some cucumbers that were looking pretty rough. I still have a couple plants that are kind of hanging in, but they'll probably come out the end of this week. And I got a big old load of compost from Green Heron Compost.
I'm so jealous. When I pulled up, I was like, oh, Mama needs some of that.
I know. It's a good load, too.
It looks super juicy, like juicy gold
I know.
dirt.
It is juicy gold compost.
Compost. Excuse me.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. So I've got to get the beds layered up with that good stuff and start planting.
You're being good. I need to get some compost as well, but I also want to be intentional using old fall leaves that I collected last fall in hoping that they broke down in the bags. I know you're supposed to have them in there for 2 years, but I'm going to try one and see how it does.
I think that would be great. So that's leaf mold is what that's called.
Yeah.
But we're going to tell you some of the plants that you should be growing for fall. There are a lot of seeds that you can put out there direct sow. We're going to talk about vegetable as well as flower seeds, but many of the things I like to start inside. And we're going to talk about some new varieties that I'm trying.
Yes, I'm very excited about the varieties that you're trying for us. Oh, man. Okay, so direct sow in your garden right now. You could be doing various root crops, carrots, beets, radishes, turnips, and parsnips. I'm really excited about the parsnips.
Yeah, I haven't done them before, and they're really popular in England, parsnips and turnips. One of my friends, he said that that's because they just didn't have anything else good to eat that time of year, but I think they're actually going to be flavorful. I've heard that parsnips are kind of like a softer flavor than a carrot. I want to try it. I don't know if I'll like it or not because I just really haven't eaten them before, but yeah, I'm excited to try them.
I've had them, and I want to say that I've grown them before. It's been a while, so that's why I wanted to do them again. But I just imagine doing like a roast with carrots and parsnips and turnips. It'll be a super yummy autumnal thing. You can direct sow all of those, which is great. And some of these other items you can direct sow or inside. So some of your greens, arugula, spinach, Swiss chard, kale, lettuces, tatsoi, and bok choy.
Yes. And I am doing tatsoi this year, which you did it last year. You love it.
You could just direct sow it. Yeah. I know you started some inside already. I'm going to direct sow Swiss chard too.
Yeah.
And tatsoi, and then maybe some of the kales and see what comes up, but then rely on your beautiful started ones that you're doing for us.
You know, I'm going to do a mix with the spinach this year, actually. I've started a bunch inside already.
You did a whole tray.
I did an entire tray of 72. And here's the reason why. This next week, the episode is going to be about using technology in your garden. Controversial, maybe.
Yeah.
But ChatGPT and I worked together not only on how many plants I would need for the beds I have, but succession planning and other things. And so when I took a look at how many spinach plants we planned out, I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to start a whole tray. And I think I'm going to kind of scatter sow some of them as well, just direct sow, and let them kind of even grow close together, almost like a big clump.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I'm not worried about overgrowing spinach, because some things like I don't want to have 20 kale plants because I could never consume all that.
Yeah.
But the spinach, you can freeze. It freezes really, really well.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, hey, why not go ahead and oversow it? The worst that will happen is it doesn't grow at all. The next worst thing is that the goats or the chickens or the donkeys get it if I have too much, or I can donate it or give it away. So yeah, I'm going to go a little crazy on spinach this year.
I think it's great. I think you said too, we could can it.
Yeah, you can can greens. So we can do greens like collards and kale and spinach as well with pressure canning.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. So what else? Our brassicas, cabbages, broccoli, cauliflower, Romanesco, and Brussels sprouts. We're going to try the Romanesco again.
I haven't started any, but I probably will give it a roll. There's a recipe. Yeah, I can't help it. And there's a recipe in 6 Seasons by Josh McFadden, which is one of the best cookbooks that I've ever owned. And it's a Romanesco recipe. And I actually think about what I'm growing so that I can make some of the stuff that he has in there. That's how good it is. In fact, we went recently to Savannah, and there's a restaurant there called The Gray. And the female chef who owns and operates it won a James Beard Award. And then she won the James Beard for like Outstanding Chef in 2022. And so on the shelf at that restaurant was 6 Seasons by Josh McFadden.
So you know it's a good cookbook.
And Deb Perlman from Smitten Kitchen talks about his cabbage soup recipe. You think cabbage soup gross? No, this is like amazing. I made it for a holiday and everybody at the table loved it, which is saying something.
Yeah.
So really and truly
I need to get that cookbook.
Yeah, because what the premise of the book is that you are eating seasonally.
Which, when you're, as a gardener, you are doing that in anyways.
Right. So he breaks it into 6 seasons.
That's really cool.
Which I really feel like fits.
It's more appropriate.
It is. What happens is that usually you're coming into season with the stuff he's talking about for the time of year. I mean, it depends on where you live, but it really is the ultimate farm to table kind of cookbook.
It's great.
Just, it's brilliant. I can't say enough good things. Anyways.
Romanesco, you're going to try it again. I hope we can, because I really think it was the temperature that wasn't working for us. Yeah. And I would love to. It's a beautiful
plant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's great.
Sow some. I got more seeds to sow.
Yay. Thank you. All right. And then last but not least, onions, bunching onions, and radicchio.
Yes, which leads me into talking about some of the new varieties that I'm going to try.
You have frost.
Well, I don't like to just buy tons and tons of seed, but I was getting low on a few things, and I had some things that I thought this is a good opportunity to try something new. And I really do love Johnny's. So I ordered most everything. Well, everything that I'm going to talk about came from Johnny's, but with the beets, I'm trying a new variety called Boldor. It's Boldor. And I'll put these varieties in the notes. So that's like a yellow. And then there's a new Chioggia that I'm trying as well. And then with carrots, I am doing Napoli and purple Haze. And they're both supposed to be really good fall carrots. One thing about these varieties is I really looked into what time of year they do best at. Right? Like, you know, and then the cauliflower, I'm trying one called Amethyst, and it's purple.
Oh, so, I hope that comes up.
I do too. I'm really curious.
I don't see why it wouldn't. I mean, the cauliflower this spring did great.
Yeah, yeah. And then for kale, we're going to do the red Russian like we always do. And then the Lacinato, and I'm going to do Dazzling blue for us as well. And the Dazzling blue is nice because it has like these tiny little purple and almost bluish color intermittent green leaves.
Ooh.
And so I am excited because I think it will also look good in a planter. Right?
Is it ornamental?
It's not ornamental, it's edible kale. But I am going to grow some ornamental kale, and that's a new variety that I'm going to do. And lastly, the thing I did really go deep into was lettuces. I'm going to start diversifying my lettuce selection. So I've gone really deep into the lettuces because I want to be planting seed that are good specifically for spring, summer, fall, winter. If you're just starting with lettuces, you can get a good all-around one like Marvel of 4 Seasons. I pretty much plant it in spring and fall, and even late summer it can kind of handle. But I'm trying two new varieties from Johnny's. One is called Gatsby and the other is
Ooh.
Salanova. And they're both
Mm.
kind of like a butter lettuce. One's a red, one's a green. And I'm going to plant a lot of this when I get it. And it's also really good in the summer here, which I thought was interesting that it can handle the summer heat, but it's also a good fall lettuce.
Sounds like it needs to be in a seed vault. I feel like this is a total tangent, but having like a seed vault of seeds that like if the world
was going to end,
we would need a list of seeds that could just be so reliable. You know, ultimate of the ultimate, like something like that.
I think that's fabulous.
I think about those things. That's kind of crazy.
No, it's not. I feel like that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find the varieties, like, for example, Marvel of the Four Seasons, I'll always grow that lettuce. It's so fantastic. And I really love Diamant cucumber. That's the one I grew this year, the pickling.
Oh, yeah.
And Diva is a great slicer. So I don't need to look anymore for cucumbers because I'm really happy with those two varieties. Not to say I might not give something else a try, but those are consistent, reliable, delicious. The vining Romano beans I did this year, I will grow them every year. They're amazing. And the Monte Gusto is a great, great variety. I'm getting to the point where I'm finding my varieties that I would consider my seed vault.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying a lot of these new ones to find what's going to work best for me. The beets I did before didn't do that great, so I'm trying a new variety.
Yeah.
And then you're doing a new variety of a Swiss chard, right?
Yes, I am.
Is it called Firebird?
It's Firebird.
Yeah, we'll put it in the notes. We'll make sure it's right.
But it was a new one. I like to grow Swiss chard, not only to eat it, but I think it's beautiful to look at too. And it's just a great year-round. We'll grow it now and it'll still be growing in the spring.
And it'll keep going. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the red Russian kale, it overwintered. I moved it to a new place and it grew to be 3.5, 4 feet tall and about 3 feet wide. It looked like a beautiful shrub, like a really interesting texture. So if you want to play with texture in your yard and your flower beds, like I'm going to mix in one of those kale plants in one of my flower beds. I've done stuff like this before with peppers. Chives is a really great one, for example, to put in flower beds. It helps with pests. Thyme, you could do kale, Swiss chard, you could put those in pots as well. If you wanted to make a really pretty fall arrangement, you could plant some spring onions like a guardsman, which is a bunching onion. Do a bunch of those in a pot with some Swiss chard, maybe a Lacinato kale for a different leaf texture, with some pansies, and it would be so pretty.
That's so cool. It's a edible landscape,
right?
You know?
And we're getting ready to talk about fall flowers and color and what you can grow right now in another episode, but those are just a few things. And then the last thing on here I'm going to try again in the fall, which I didn't have luck with last year, was fava beans. I'm trying a new variety called Vroma, and it's Vroma, and then Vroma, and then some broad Windsors that I saved from seed from my spring crop. But I haven't nailed the fava situation yet. I feel like I want to figure it out. So anyways, a lot of new varieties, but this is fun, like a fun time to try.
I think it is, because there's not a lot of pressure because we're moving into the colder months and it's like, if it doesn't do well, and if it does, wow, that's great.
Yeah, just to be clear, you can plant the stuff that I mentioned in the spring as well. I mean, you can plant those carrots in the spring, you can plant the kale in the spring, but the lettuces, for example, I could plant those in the spring too. They just will do exceptionally well in the fall because that lettuce variety can handle some of the summer heat we're still gonna get.
Yeah. And you know, what's interesting is I kind of really got started on my fall garden in like October last year. It was kind of late and I had a bunch of starts, but I also started stuff from seed too, like end of October, November. I sprinkled some lettuce seeds down and they came up the next spring. So some of the stuff you can be proactive now for
It's interesting what will overwinter, and as it gets in the cooler months we'll talk a lot about overwintering crops, but for now those are some of the things you can start on. So get that compost and your leaves and some mulch in those beds, give them a refresh, and go ahead and get out there and plant some stuff or start your starts. It's not too late. If you haven't started your starts, you can still do it in Zone 7B. But let's talk a little bit about the end of the summer that we've had and one of your favorite topics, which is seed saving.
I do. I love saving seeds. I've always done it. I can't help it. I'm just like, why not? It's right there. It's on the plant. Why not save it? I've been doing this for years. Some years I get more intense about it than others. I need to prioritize what I'm going to be saving for seed, but I've also been harvesting a lot of the flowers and stuff are medicinal ones. So like calendula is on the list here for seed saving. I'll tell you, I saved calendula seeds last year, planted them this year or in this spring, they didn't come up. So it was weird. Yeah, but I tried, and calendula is one that I'm collecting and drying because I'm saving it for medicinal purposes for us. But there's other things that you could be seed saving that is not medicinal. So zinnias, that's a big thing right now. I've already started on saving zinnia seeds.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If you have zinnias out in your yard right now,
what do you need to do?
What do you need to do?
I hope over the season you've been cutting them because they're cut and come again. You need to leave a few choice ones on there to die on the plant so they dry out, and that you can save for seed. You can't clip off a fresh one and take it in and dry it and save those seeds. It needs to die and mature on the plant so that those seeds will fully develop and dry on there. I have tagged a few of mine that I want to save, and this is for any plant that you're seed saving for. You need to die on the plant, and you can go behind and clip it off and break it apart and save those seeds. There's some other things you could be seed saving for: dahlias, echinacea, coriander. And once you've dried your seed heads, they should be dry on the plant. But when you bring them in, I like to dry them before I break them apart just to make sure they're super extra crispy. I'm storing them in paper bags.
Yeah. One of my favorite things to do is to take a paper bag with me out to the garden for foxglove, poppy, or nigella, and you just cut those stems off, put them in the bag. Then you can just stick your hand in there, break it up,
perfect.
shake it around, take it out, and you've got the seed pretty much without a bunch of gunk in there. So they're really easy to save.
That's so easy.
I bought some beautiful foxglove this year that I love. The color is gorgeous, but it is an F1. So if I save those seeds, it won't come back true.
Grow? What will she come back as?
I would have to divide it.
So if you sowed those F1 seeds, would they even germinate?
Would germinate, but they would come back as a different color.
I wonder what color.
I don't know. I mean, it's a good experiment, but if I want the same color, I have to divide it. So, okay, yeah, well, we'll see.
I'm just wild to try.
No, I know you are. I've left the stalks on them because I do intend to save them because I love foxglove so much. But the other thing with the paper bags is, yeah, it's a great thing to do during the winter, is just to sit there and pull those seed heads off.
Gets excited about other stuff.
We're going to have a whole episode about seed saving. But here are some flower seeds that you can sow this month. So Kate's going to run through those.
So what we're going to be sowing flower-wise in September: poppies, calendula, nigella, bells of Ireland, chamomile, and borage. I am definitely going to do chamomile again. I actually did it in the spring. And so maybe that was... I don't know if it needs a
stratification period.
Yeah.
I bought some chamomile seed from Johnny's because you didn't have luck, and I'm like, I'm going to grow some damn chamomile for us.
I grow it so that, yeah.
I've tried to grow it before, and I've always direct sown it, and I haven't had luck, so I'm going to try it indoors.
Okay.
Yeah, but the poppies and calendula, nigella, you can do that outdoors, or you could choose to start some inside, but right now, really, it needs to be outdoors, especially the poppies and the bells of Ireland and the borage and stuff. You wouldn't want to do those indoors. In talking about flowers, one of the most important things that happens this time of year is ordering bulbs. Mm-hmm. Now, you could have ordered bulbs back in July and August, which if you have a bulb, a tulip that you know you absolutely have to have,
I hope that's when you order.
Yeah, because it's getting kind of late. But you know what? You can also get sales the later that you go. And for me this year, some of the whites that I'm going to order for my white garden are very kind of common and easy to get. And I do hope I can get the varieties I grew last year. Some of them will come back, but a lot of them won't. So I'm getting ready to order. And I think last year I planted them third week of October, maybe. I'm going to push it into the beginning of November because tulips in particular can rot. And that didn't happen in those beds, but I really want to make sure they don't stay in the ground and get too wet too long. So I'm going to push them. I've planted tulips as late as mid-December before, and it's totally fine here to do that.
I've done it in January.
They just don't come up quite as strong.
They don't. They definitely don't because they don't. I did pots last fall, and I should have had them in a covered area because they all rotted, which was disappointing.
I did a tulip pot experiment, and we'll talk about that in another episode. No. And I will tell you the trick that I learned. Mm-hmm. The other thing, tulips, alliums, I mean, there's pretty much all the spring blooming bulbs you can start ordering now. There are a few that I think I'm going to miss out on that I didn't get earlier, but that's okay. There's always next year.
We can only do so much, Shannon.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. The other thing we've got going on is garlic. If you haven't ordered your garlic yet, get on that now because it will be shipping in October. I usually plant mine week 3 and 4 in October, my garlic and my shallots, and I use some of it from my previous year's harvest. This year I've ordered a couple soft neck varieties to mix it up.
Try. Yeah, I'm excited.
And then you don't have to pre-order potatoes yet, but I will do that in like October or November. So we'll give you another reminder for that. So last kind of on our list is a little bit about herbs and perennials.
Yeah. Other things for September, make sure your lavender, thyme, oregano, and other evergreens are tucked in before frost. So it's interesting. I have a lot more lavender this year than I ever have. And I've trimmed a little bit off them. Like I've trimmed the flower stems off, but I'm leaving all the foliage.
Yeah.
And what else are you going to be doing to tuck them in? Are you going to mold?
Well, I still have some lavender plants to get planted.
Yes, you do.
And they've actually been hanging out on the table for a couple months and they're fine. I have 10 of them. Grosso is the variety. And they're going on this hill area. And now that I've got my compost and I've got chicken grit, I'm going to get them in there. Here's what I think. The other Grossos have done really well. I'm very pleased that they've all hung in through the summer. I did not water them. I did not baby them. They're not big enough yet that they need that big trim back because they didn't bloom.
Yep.
So my culinary lavender is still blooming. The culinary lavender literally bloomed all season long for the most part.
Just trimmed some off on yesterday.
I've got head coat and Munstead, and those are the
they
two
both are.
culinary.
There was 2 different ones that were blooming.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It is nuts. So they kind of bloomed and then took a break and then bloomed again. So the Grosso haven't bloomed, which is fine. They're new baby plants from the 4x4 pots. So these guys will get planted in. And then if we get a frost in mid-October, which I don't think we will, but if we do, I'll just cover them with a little fleece and make sure they're protected. I may even protect them a little bit this winter, just since it's a little bit late. But it kind of depends on how the weather goes. If it doesn't really start to get frosty until the end of November, then probably not going to do much. Like where they are, they're really pretty tough. Other plants we're going to have in another episode to talk about with the fall flowers is shrubs. This is a great time of year to start planting shrubs. And you may want to go ahead and prune some of your shrubs.
I did prune some of my climbing roses a little bit, only because they had just gotten totally unwieldy. I mean, they were wild that like you couldn't even walk up the stairs in front of our home.
Light pruning, shaping, and cleanup is what we'd recommend because it's still too hot to do any kind of hardcore.
No, it won't be till December where I really structure them and then refine in March before they bloom.
Right. So you could do a light pruning on your hydrangeas, like your panicle and smooth types. You can deadhead the spent blooms and just tidy up the shape. Do really check your hydrangeas because every variety is a little different, whether you're doing it after blooming or certain ones you don't want to hard prune. Like you said, roses are a great one for light deadheading. And then even boxwood, holly, laurel, yew, just stuff like that. You can do some light, gentle shaping if needed, but not anything super heavy. And then you can cut back your summer flowering perennials like daylilies or coneflowers, black-eyed Susans. But again, if you're saving seeds, you need to be really kind of picking and choosing. Like my echinacea white swan has been dying back this, and I just got a bunch of those seeds recently. I like to leave some of that for structure in the winter too. I like some of the stalks, and I think it's good for birds and other critters for hiding places, but you don't want to have so much left out there that you're harboring pest till you want to clean up. And then the herbaceous peonies, you can cut the foliage to the ground as it's yellowed or if it's gotten burnt in the sun. And some of your annuals, like your zinnia or cosmos, you could shear them and get a little bit of a second flush before the end of the season, but you also want to save seeds. And then any of your clematis group 3 vines, you can go ahead and tidy those up right now too. So that's plenty to do in September.
We're always telling you, you need to be so busy.
Right.
But you know what? It's pick and choose. We're telling you everything that you can hit to the max, but we're picking and choosing some of this stuff. We worked so hard this year and we love it. I mean, obviously, but You know, you don't have to do it all, pick and choose,
Right.
and there's
Do
always
what
the
you-
spring.
Do what you can, but
Yeah.
it's good to know what you can do.
Yeah.
I think what surprised me on our journey this year together with gardening is sitting down and thinking of all of the things that we can be doing. It seems really overwhelming, but then we end up getting done more than we think we were going to get done. So we're like, oh wait, I can squeeze this in.
Oh, we should do this too.
So yeah, have fun with it as always, and
Let's go grow, baby.
Thanks for listening to Fostering Blooms. If this episode inspired you, send it to a friend who's ready to ditch bland grocery store radishes and get spicy in the garden with us. We'd love it if you left us a 5-star review. That helps other people like you find our podcast. And don't forget to tag us on Instagram when your blooms show off. Until next time, let's go grow, baby.